Hey guys, in today's video, we're going to talk about how to hit a draw. We're going to go over the baseline fundamentals. I'm going to give you a couple drills to get that golf ball curving right to left for you. All right, let's talk about how to hit a draw. Now, the most important thing with hitting a draw is that we need to understand what creates it first. And the most important part of that is the club face to path relationship. So there's a lot of different moving parts in a golf swing, but the one thing that's constant is if I want to curve the ball as a right-handed golfer from right to left, that beautiful ball flight that we all like to see, I must have my club face closed to my path, okay? Assuming I'm hitting the ball somewhere near the middle, okay, centerness of contact, my club face must be closed to the path. Part one of this whole process is you need to know that. Part number two is you need to know how to do that and how to check to see if you're not doing that. So let's go over a couple elements that'll influence the club face to path relationship, and then I'll show you how to practice these parts. So when talking club face and face to path relationship, the most important part to start is the grip. Now, we're not going to do a full-blown grip video here. I just want to go over a couple key checkpoints. Now, if I want to have my face close to the path, can I do that with a weak grip, a neutral grip, or a strong grip? Yeah, I could do that with any grip theoretically. The point here is that I can't, or probably don't want to, have an overly weak left-hand grip position, or just both hands in general. The weaker my grip is, or the more my hands are rotated counterclockwise, the more inclined I am to have my club face too far open. And club face open, golf ball not going to draw, so we don't want that. So hands, grip. Well, a normal grip, I would reference a couple things. Number one would be the V between my thumb and my index finger. And on both my left and my right hand, I want those V's going somewhere between my chin and my right shoulder. Anywhere at my chin, collarbone, right shoulder would be fine for that. What we need to avoid here is my V being way far to the left, okay? Or my right hand V being way far to the left. Could I hit a draw with a weak grip? Have I seen players hit a draw with a weak grip? Yes, I have, okay? Are there some tour players who have a weaker grip and draw? Yes, there are. We're not tour players. Let's get our grip kind of normal, a little bit strong to help us close the face. Now, even if I were to have a left-hand grip, one little caveat, I would be semi-okay with a left-hand grip if, and only if, you made sure that your heel pad of your left hand sat on top of the grip. If you have a weak grip and your heel pad, the fleshy part on top of your hand, sat on the side of the grip, like so, that must be changed. That absolutely can't happen. It's gonna be really hard to square the face. So just check your grip first. Make sure the grip is neutral or strong. Check other videos for that part. It's part one. The second part is during the backswing, okay? Obviously, relative to my normal, no matter what I do, the club face is gonna open some amount. You can't keep your club face square the whole way. It's not possible. It's gonna open relative to the golf ball. What I'm saying is probably the more you open it, the harder it's gonna be to get it closed coming down. Can I open my club face a lot going back and close it a lot? Yeah, theoretically I could, but can I repeat that? Can I close it enough to get it to draw? I'd rather not. I'd rather keep the face more square throughout the backswing to do that. A couple key checkpoints for that briefly. During the takeaway position, if this club face gets rolled way up towards the sky, toe up like that, back of the left hand towards the sky, that would be more open and I would prefer to hit a draw. I'd like it to be neutral or slightly tilted down. The majority of that gets controlled through wrist angles, okay? Same thing at the top. I just want to check where that club face is at. I want to make sure that my left wrist is somewhat flattish, my club face is somewhat square. If I get to the top of my swing and I have a real big cup in my left wrist and my face gets open, is it possible to hit a draw from there? Sure it is. Is it likely? Absolutely not. So I want to not have this cup in my left wrist. I want to have this nearish flat. Doesn't need to be perfect, and my club face be managed here, okay? And then the second part of this is during the downswing. I'm going to put a little 8 on here just to kind of show where my face is pointed for the downswing pieces. So from the top of my swing, okay, of course my club face is going to be closing essentially the whole time. If I get up to normal here like this, I want to start to crank this club face down. For a lot of you guys, listen, if you're curving the ball to the right, you're cranking right from the beginning and you're cranking hard. This is not something you're doing soft, right? You can, from here, start to close that club face right away. See that ball here? Here's a normal type of backswing pointed away from me. Watch how I'm cranking that thing down to the ground as I come down. The more I can get that ball pointed down towards the ground, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I would love to have that club face tilted a little down like this. That's my club face being square or close to my path the entire time. What we need to avoid from the top if we want to draw it is a club face that's overly open. An open club face would be that golf ball pointed up towards the sky. If I get to a position here where my club face is drastically open and this is pointing up to the sky, you've got almost no chance of hitting the draw, mostly because if your brain sees this, guess what, man? You're going to be over the top. You're going to be outside in with that open club face. You're never getting the club head inside from there. So the face being square or closing from the top would be ideal. How do I do that? I mainly do that through my left hand or my wrist conditions. I would curl that under. I would bow that lead wrist. I would bend back that right wrist to square that. That's the first part of the downswing. And there's nothing wrong with doing it in the second part of the downswing. Can some of us time that out and really do it on the way through? Absolutely we can. The same thing would apply, right? If I flipped sides here and I swung towards the camera, I want to feel like that this is still pointing down when I come through too, right? That's not over rotating the face. That's not harder to manage. I can take this thing, I can rotate it down towards the ground. Is that going to make my club face more closed or more open, more closed? Is that going to help us curve it to the left to learn? Absolutely is. In the beginning process of this, there's nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong during the follow through with rotating your forearms a lot. Nothing wrong with rotating my forearms a lot, adding a lot of lead arm supination, a lot of right arm pronation, getting the back of my left hand towards the ground. That gets a really bad rap, and for a lot of you, that's a shame because you need a lot of that. We need to rotate that club face. So that's a lot on the club face. I just want to make it firm. You need to understand that the face needs to be closed to the path if you want to have a chance at any of this. And a lot of people I know are saying, well, I need to do the path stuff. Yeah, you need to do the path stuff, but if you don't have the face under control, you're probably not going to do the path stuff. So face first, get it started good with the grip. Make sure it's square-ish going back, just not crazy open. Start to square it early if you want. If not, square it here. If not, square it late, whatever. Just square it and square it hard. If you're going to learn how to hit a draw, especially if you're someone who slices it, you probably want to hook some golf balls hard to the left, right? In the beginning phases of this, I'm going to go ahead and hit one or two. In the beginning phases, before we talk path, I want to hook it a lot, right? So what I would do here is, for this part first, I'll just take a normal setup, make sure my grip's good, get my face tilted down, and start to tilt it and really rotate it in the follow through. And I'm trying to kind of curve a couple left on purpose. So let's go ahead and hit one or two kind of hooks. Grip is on here normal. I'm going to go ahead and try and shut the face down back here and shut it down the way through and hit one that curves. Okay, so I curve that nicely, maybe a 10-yard or so draw. And I need to be able to do that first. Not all of you are going to do it in your first swing, but keep working that. Get the ball going left. It's okay if it goes way left in the beginning. That's fine. We want to start curving it. So now that's where I would start with this. Just learn the face first, right? Some of you are going to be really over the top still, and you're going to shut the face down and hit really quick low lefts. That's fine. You actually shut the face down for once. Okay, now we need to start to fix the path pieces. Part of the reason it's so important to fix the face first is because the only reason, right, it's the same reason and the only reason why you guys and gals all get over the top because your club face is too open, right? It's a reaction to your club face being too open. So if you don't fix what's causing it, how are you going to stop getting over the top? You're not going to stop getting over the top. And the same thing's true for swinging inside out. A lot of you guys and gals will come in, club face is way open, and you want to try swinging from inside out, and you're going to hit the ball 100 yards to the right and not do it anymore. You're automatically going to swing over the top because if you have an open club face, that's the only way you get the club pointed at the target and play functional golf, somewhat functional with that pattern. The point being, for me to start to do the path pieces here in a minute, I have to get the face first. It's non-negotiable. So let's say I hit a couple like that. You know, I want to probably start to make a couple setup adjustments as I learn how to draw it, but before I do that, I want to learn how to get my path to the right. Only after I get the face under control will I start getting my path to the right. How do I do that? Well, general concept first, and I'll show you how to practice it. I've got two blue sticks here on the ground that indicate my ball target line. The general idea here is going to be I want the club head during the downswing to approach the ball from inside, right, or towards me, from the inside of the blue line to the golf ball, and you're going to feel, note I'm saying feel, like the club head's going inside to the golf ball and to the right of the blue stick on the ground. For a normal golfer, if you look at a really good golf swing, in reality, I want the club head to work like a little circle around my body. It works into the ball, hits the ball, and works back inside on the follow through. It works in on both sides. But if you're learning how to get your path to the right, especially if you're over the top, we're not doing that. We're over exaggerating. We're getting the club head inside this blue line, hit the ball, and go out to the right. How far out to the right? As far out to the right as you can go in the beginning. I'm talking drastic here, way inside, way to the right. Especially again, if you're over the top, one more time. This club head during the downswing for you is gonna have to feel so drastic and so exaggerated on the inside. If you feel, oh yeah, I feel it's a little inside, but not a lot, then you're probably not doing it, okay? This needs to feel like that club head is way behind you. I'm talking like a mile back. I don't even know where it's at. And then I can whip it from inside to out. It's gotta feel way behind you during the initial parts. Now, hopefully that all conceptually makes sense. Let's talk about how to practice this. I've got alignment rods here that you can get for like a buck, maybe at a local store. They're super cheap. So I'm gonna utilize these, assuming most of you will be able to do this. I've got 2 lines on the ground. You don't need that, but these next 2 you do need. So I'm gonna put 2 sticks in to help indicate swing direction. On the first stick, okay, and I'll show you from face on, when we put it, I kind of do a little takeaway pose. I like to put the stick 1/2 to 3/4 of the way down the shaft in terms of back in this direction towards your camera, so it will never hit my hands. That's part number 1. And then what I'll do for the downswing part is I'm gonna put the stick on the outside part here, on the outside part, and I'm gonna tilt it down roughly the same angle as the club I'm hitting. I happen to have a 7-iron here, so I'm gonna set my 7-iron on the ground. I'm gonna tilt this roughly the same angle as the club. That's the backswing part. And then on the follow through, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna set my shaft about here. I'm gonna put this 1/2 to 3/4 of the way down the shaft. But now on this one, I'm gonna put this on the inside part of this, not the outside. And again, I'm gonna go ahead and bend this about the same as the club I'm using, which for me is a 7-iron. And now I've just created an awesome practice station, okay? Now I'm gonna move this golf ball. I'm gonna show you how this works. If you're learning how to hit a draw, we're trying to get that club head underneath this first stick. Imagine if you're over the top, you would hit or actually go outside of this stick. And I'm saying for a draw, you have to go underneath this stick, get to my tee, and then go to the right of this stick. That's the baseline idea. Now, if this isn't enough, I might even put this a little higher in the beginning, a little bit above my shaft angle here to exaggerate. And I'm just gonna start doing some short swings, trying to clip this tee and get this club head working over to the right. It's okay in the beginning if your club head gets a little inside, just a little early, okay? I don't want it whipping inside your hands, but it's okay if it gets a little inside so we can get this path part down. To get the draw down, we need the face and the path. So I'm feeling my grip is good. I'm feeling the face is square back here. I'm going from inside to the right, and I'm really letting this club face turn over. Again, you guys can roll this form. You can shut this face down. It's not incorrect. So hopefully this station makes sense. Again, one more time, 1/2 to 3/4 of the way down the shaft behind and in front of me. Have it tilted roughly the same angle as my shaft. I want to be inside this one to the right of that one. You need to get your club face first. You get the path second. If you're first learning how to draw, especially if you're 90% who slice it, hook them way left. Get the club face first. Fix your over the top second. Do it with this station or another station that's similar to this. Don't be in a rush to fix a big hook when you're learning, okay? Hope that all makes sense. Face first, path second for the draws. If you have any questions, as always, please leave us a comment down below.